Seth, a very good morning to you. It is not at all a good morning for the markets right now with that gain that you have coming in. As far as oil is concerned, you're seeing every single assumption that you had up until now really being challenged when it comes to the markets. And right now, when you take a look at all of the indices, whether you're talking about US futures or the Asian markets, quite the rout that you're seeing. What is your first read on this particular reaction that the market has had? And you also expect it to continue?
Well, first, I want to congratulate India. And I hate to be Debbie Downer here, talking about the impact of the war in Iran. The situation with oil prices is that the impacts are very, very broad. And it's one thing to look, here on the TV, we're hearing about higher gasoline, petrol prices for our cars. Crude is up over 48% combined between last week and just today. But it has grave impacts across so many industries: transportation, manufacturing, agriculture, automotive, hospitality. It's going to affect trucking companies, airlines. It's going to massively impact agriculture because so much fertilizer is derived from oil.
No, absolutely. But if you see a protracted conflict coming in, and Seth, thank you so much for the congratulations. We're all very happy this morning after that match that we really managed to watch, because it was quite the brilliant sportsmanship show that we saw coming in from India as well. Thank you so much. But not to be the Debbie Downer, but we're still looking at that really massive surge when it comes to oil prices, right, Seth? So if the conflict really does become even more prolonged than it already has right now, because there are clearly no signs of the war ending just about now, whether it be through the commentary coming in from the leaders or any other indications right now. So given all of that, which are the worst sectors or worst pockets of the market that you see the impact really getting the worst of right now?
Well, obviously, anything transportation related, and that goes across so much, not just individuals needing to fill their cars and motorcycles with gas, but manufacturing, chemical firms, some of the industries I mentioned at the beginning. But I'm very concerned about the impact on agriculture prices and how that also affects agricultural producers. We're actually having in California and across the United States, for example, quite a number of bankruptcies and distressed agricultural companies in spite of the demand for food. And higher oil prices is going to cut across both fuel, but also the inputs. And I think we're going to see that globally, obviously, because oil is priced in dollars, and every country, whether it's Europe or emerging markets, will be impacted.
Absolutely. And in terms of how investors should be looking to also sort of try to hedge this volatility if they can. Of course, there's no sure shot way to do that in the middle of an actual war, which is likely to be a prolonged one at that. But if investors want to be hedging this volatility, what should they be looking at? What should they be sharpening their focus on right now?
Well, I think there are times to buy and times to sell and times to wait a while and do nothing. And I think until we have some clarity on the duration of this war, the impacts to the other Middle Eastern countries, the shipping lanes, are we going to end up with boots on the ground in Iran? I think it's just too early to tell. We're not getting clear signals from Washington on what the real intentions and expectations should be. And although it may hurt to see one's portfolio dive like this, it may be safer just to wait a little bit longer.
No, absolutely. I think it is a little bit of very heightened volatility that you're looking at right now, Seth. I quickly wanted to get your closing comments in before we wrap this conversation. Seth, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just an observer,
Hmm.
and we have to. I do feel it's important to comment on Trump's relieving of sanctions so that India can buy oil from Russia again. Um, to me, this is really symbolic of, frankly, what a disaster this is. I thought it was obviously difficult for India to make these adjustments. But in terms of the impact on the war in Ukraine, which, of course, right at the moment, we're not hearing anything about, that this demonstrates a real conflict in policymaking. And this affects the entire world.